Hello class, today I'm making a video over how to find speed and velocity. A lot of you requested that I make a video about speed and velocity, so we're going to do that. First of all, in order to find how fast or the object's speed, we need to know the formula for speed. Speed equals distance divided by time. Once again, S stands for speed, distance divided by time. In shorthand, that looks like this. S equals D over T. S equals D over T. Now, how we write speed equals distance over time and how we solve for it at our level, we use this triangle method. The triangle method, you don't have to remember where speed, distance, and time all go in the triangle at the same time. You just have to remember, where does distance go? The distance will always go at the top of the triangle. It will always go at the top of the triangle. Speed and time can go on either side of the triangle. S standing for speed, T standing for time. Now what you see right here, this is a division symbol, this is a multiplication symbol. Because whenever I am covering up one of these objects, speed equals distance divided by time. Now you may ask, what does time equal? Time equals speed. Time equals distance divided by the speed. Now, and how I solve for distance, if I want to know the distance of something, I just use this triangle method again, and I know that distance equals speed multiplied by time. That is the basic formula. Okay, we're going to try a speed question real quick using our formula that we have right here. So remember, distance always goes at the top. When a question gives you speed and distance, or speed and time, or time and speed, you only need to remember distance goes at the top. I'm going to give you a set of steps to solve a problem. First, we're going to look at a problem. And here's the problem that we're going to be looking at. It says, what is the speed if the distance is 340 kilometers, the time was 3 hours? And they want to know, was matter speeding? Okay? The speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. The first thing to do, we must identify what did the question give us. What did the question ask and what did it give us? It's asking what is the speed. So I underlined what is the speed because that's the question. That tells me that I am looking for speed equals distance over time. Speed equals distance over time. And the next step that you need to do, you're going to identify your distance and time, and if they give you speed, you'll identify that as well. So I put S equals for speed, D equals for distance, T equals for time. And the question is, what is the speed? So that is where your question mark goes. Then your distance, it says the distance is 340 kilometers. So 340 km. The time that it took to go 340 kilometers was 3 hours. Make sure you are using your units of measurement. Time can be measured in hours. That's one way. And one way to measure distance is kilometers. So make sure you include those because my speed needs to have these two units of measurement added on to the end of it once I solve for my math. Well, if you look earlier in the video, we learned using the triangle method, we are going to put distance always at the top of the triangle. So I'm going to draw my triangle to solve for this problem right here. I know distance goes at the top. I had a distance of 340. 340 divided by the time. Time goes in the bottom. Divided by 3 will give me this blank spot where my speed goes. Okay, let's solve for that. Let's look at that real quick. 3 into 340. 3 will go into 3 one time. Let me erase this line right here. You don't get confused. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3. That is 0 with a 4. Again, 3 will go into 4 one time. That'll be 3. And we'll be left with 10. 3 will go into 10 3 times. You will be left, 3 times 3 is 9. You will be left with a 1. And this will continue to repeat. Now I have to add a 0, so I add a decimal. This will continue to repeat. 113.3. That will be my speed in the number. But this cannot be a speed. You cannot say that I was going 113.3. You must be going some type of unit. So the answer, it needs to be in this form or it is incorrect. Matter was going 113.3. Now you look, I have kilometers. So he's going 113.3 kilometers per. The symbol for per is a slash sign. And then my time was hours. So I put hours right here. He was going 113 kilometers per hour. That should make a lot of sense. That is how you find speed. Now I put 113.3 with the repeating symbol in right here. The reason why we use this method is because you should never ever get one of these questions wrong when you have a triangle method, because they allow you, when you only have 3 variables, you are allowed to check your work. So if I want to find out if this is right, I cover up my distance, and I know that 113.3 times 3 should give me very, very close to 340 since it's repeating. Let's try that real quick. 113.3. This, I got this from right here. I'm going to multiply it times 3, and that should give me 340. Okay? 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 339.9. That is extremely close to 340. The only reason why it does not equal 340 exactly, which in most cases it will equal this number. When you check your work, this times this will equal this exactly. The only reason why this one does it is because we have a repeating number. So it's okay if you're off by just a little bit, but not by too much. This is how you find the speed of an object. Next, we are going to find the velocity of an object. Now, velocity, all that is speed and direction. Speed and direction. So if you look up here, here is what we have. We have speed. We have the same triangle. We're going to replace the S that we had on this side. So we're going to replace this S with a V. But the good thing is, velocity and speed, they're pretty much exactly the same. Just one, actually they're exactly the same, but velocity includes direction. So my formula for speed, if you do not remember, was speed equals distance over time. How I filled that in, distance always goes at the top. We always put distance at the top. Speed and time go at the bottom. The formula for velocity is almost identical. Instead of speed equals distance over time, it is velocity equals distance over time. Okay? And then velocity will also include a direction. Speed and direction. That is velocity. So velocity will have some type of direction. So I still, to set it up in the triangle, I still put direction at the top, put velocity, replace the V with the S. Same thing for this formula. And time still goes at the bottom. Doesn't matter which side you put velocity and time. Same thing for speed and time. It does not matter where you put them. Okay, now let's practice finding velocity. Okay, the question, it says, it took Sally 4 hours to travel 165 kilometers due north. This is this question right here. What was the velocity of her car in kilometers an hour? If I was not sure before, I'm going to underline what is it asking me to find. It is asking me to find the velocity because it says what was the velocity. Well, I know that velocity equals distance over time. My first thing I'm going to do, V equals, D equals, and T equals. I'm identifying my variables. Okay, the question is, what was the velocity? That is where my question mark goes. The next question is, the next thing I have to find out is, did they give me a distance and time? It says, it took Miss Sally 4 hours. Okay, I hear time because I hear hours. That is a measurement of time. Hours, and then I see my distance. It took Sally 4 hours to travel 165 kilometers. 165 kilometers or kilometers. Same thing. Alright, so I have my question mark for velocity because that's what it's asking me. My distance is 165 and my time is 4 hours. Okay, but I told you the difference between velocity and speed is that velocity includes direction. They said it took Sally 4 hours to travel 165 kilometers due north. Okay, so at the end of my question, whatever velocity I find, it will be going north because it must have speed and direction. Remember, distance and time only, that is speed. Distance and time and direction, like north, that is velocity. Let's figure out Sally's velocity. Okay? So I'm drawing my triangle method. I know that distance always goes at the top, 165. And that's going to be divided by 4 hours. So distance divided by the time. Do you see that? That should give me my velocity heading north. Let's see. 165 divided by 4. 4 will go into 16. 4 times 4 is 1, 6. We have 0 and a 5. 4 will go into 5 one time. 4 times 1 is 4. I am left with 5 minus 4 is 1. I have to add a 0, so I must add a decimal. Add my 0 down, bring it down. 10. 4 will go into 10 2 times. 4 will go into 10 2 times. So 2 right here, 4 times 2 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. I have to add another 0. Bring the 0 down. 4 will go into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. So I have solved. I have solved the question. So I know that his velocity is 41.25. Now, that is not a velocity. I must have the units of measurement, kilometers and hours, and I also must have direction. Hopefully you were already thinking about it. So 41.25. 41.25. Now, what was my units of measurement for my distance? Kilometers. So he was going 41.25 kilometers per, have hours, and what direction was he going? I was going 41.25 kilometers. My distance was kilometers. My time was in hours, so he's going kilometers per hour, and it said earlier he was going north. So his velocity was 41.25 kilometers per hour north. Hopefully, this has helped you understand speed and velocity. Remember, you must always identify what variables do they give you. Always include the units of measurement or they will be incorrect. Remember, speed and velocity, the only difference is that velocity includes direction. Speed is distance and time. Velocity is distance, time, and direction. Have a great day.